Two people are watching this right now. The first one already runs a business. It's 11 p.m. and they're still awake doing the same 3 tasks they did at 9 a.m., answering the same emails, writing the same follow-ups. They didn't build a business. They built a job that owns them. Pull them out for 1 week and the whole thing wobbles. The second person hasn't started yet. They've got the idea. They've had it for months. But every time they get close, the same wall shows up. I can't afford a team. I can't write the emails, design the thing, handle the customers, and do the actual work all by myself. I'm one person. So the idea just sits there, gathering dust in their notes app. Here's the thing both of these people don't realize. They have the exact same problem. One is drowning in a business, the other is too scared to start one. But underneath, it's the same wall. There aren't enough hours, and there's only one of you. In that wall, the thing that's been stopping both of you just quietly came down. Today, I'm walking you through the full playbook for scaling a business with Claude. And it doesn't matter which of those two people you are. If you're already running something, this is how you stop being trapped inside it. If you're still standing at the starting line, this is how you start as one person and still operate like you've got a team behind you. Same system, both directions. Not ask AI to make you rich nonsense. A real step-by-step way to take the work that's either drowning you or scaring you off and hand most of it to an AI that doesn't sleep, doesn't quit, and doesn't ask for a raise. 5 parts. And part 5 is the one almost everyone skips, and it's the exact reason most people use AI for a month and then quietly give up. So actually stick around for that one. Let's get into it. First, the thing nobody wants to admit. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The reason you haven't scaled isn't that you're lazy. You're clearly not. You're working harder than almost everyone you know. The reason is that every hour you spend is an hour you traded. You're paid by effort, and there are only so many hours in a weekend. Scaling means breaking that trade. It means the business produces results that aren't tied to you sitting in a chair. And the old way to do that was expensive and slow. You hired people, you trained them for months, you managed them, fixed their mistakes, and prayed they didn't leave. Claude changes the cost of that, not because it's magic. It isn't. The AI is never the magic, but because it lets one person do the work of a small team for the boring, repeatable parts of a business. And the boring, repeatable parts are exactly the parts eating your night right now. So forget 10x as some hype number. Think of it like this. If you can take 5 hours of weekly grunt work and turn it into 30 minutes, you just bought yourself the time to actually grow. That's the real meaning of scale. Read that again.
Part 1. Find where you're the bottleneck. You can't scale a mess. So before you touch a single tool, you do something most owners never do. You audit your own week. For 3 days, every time you do a task, jot it down. By the end, you'll have a list, and that list will sort itself into 2 piles almost on its own. One pile is the work only you can do. The strategy, the big calls, the relationships. The other pile is everything that's repetitive, rule-based, and honestly, a little soul-crushing. The follow-ups, the first draft writing, the answering the same question for the 100th time. That second pile is your gold mine. Not because it's glamorous, but because it's predictable. And predictable work is exactly what an AI handles brilliantly. Now, I can already hear someone in the comments going, I don't have time to audit my week, I'm too busy. My friend, that is the trap. That sentence right there is the reason you're stuck. The 3 days you spend noticing where your time leaks will give you back 10 times that within a month. You're not too busy to do this. You're too busy not to. Part 2. Hand over the writing first. Every business runs on words. Emails, proposals, descriptions, replies, posts, follow-ups. And for most owners, words are the single biggest time sink that doesn't actually require them specifically. So this is where you start, because it's the fastest win and it builds your trust in the system. You open Claude and you stop treating it like a search bar. You treat it like a sharp new team member who knows nothing about your business yet. So you brief it properly. You tell it who your customer is, what your business does, the tone you want, and the exact result you need. Write a follow-up email to a customer who got a quote but went quiet. Friendly, no pressure, one clear question at the end. Here's what we sell and how we talk. What comes back won't be perfect. It'll be 80% there in about 30 seconds. And here's the part you cannot skip. the part that separates people who get results from people who get embarrassed. You read it. You fix the lines that sound generic. You add the one detail only you would know. You're still the boss. Claude is the team member who hands you a strong first draft so you're editing instead of staring at a blank screen. Think of it like the difference between a chef who's handed a proven recipe and told, make this with chicken instead of duck, versus one told, invent something brand new from whatever's in the fridge. The first one cooks. The second one serves you cereal with hot sauce. You're not asking Claude to invent your business. You're handing it your proven structure and saying, make this version. That's why it works. Do this for 1 week and you'll feel something shift. The writing that used to eat your evenings starts taking minutes. That reclaimed time is the first brick of scale.
Part 3. Build systems, not one-off tasks. Here's where most people stay small forever. They use AI like a vending machine. Ask a question, get an answer, walk away. Then tomorrow they ask the same question again from scratch. People who actually scale do the opposite. They build systems once and reuse them forever. What does that mean in plain English? It means every time Claude produces something great, you save the exact instructions that made it great. Your best follow-up email prompt, your proposal template, the brief that gets the tone perfect every time. You're building a library, and a library is the difference between a hustle and a machine. So instead of write me an email over and over, you create a repeatable process, a standard way you onboard every new customer, a standard set of replies for your 5 most common questions, a standard structure for every proposal. You build it once with Claude, polish it as a human, and then it runs the same way every single time, whether you're at your desk or asleep. This is the quiet shift that changes everything. A task you do is gone the moment it's done. A system you build keeps paying you back. The owner who builds 5 solid systems this month isn't 10% ahead next year. They're in a different league because their business finally does things without them standing in the middle of it. Part 4. Get honest about what not to automate. Now let me be the person who actually tells you the truth, because too many of these videos won't. Not everything should be handed off, and if you automate the wrong things, you'll damage the business faster than you grew it. The rule is simple. Automate the repetitive, protect the relationships. The follow-up reminder, automate it. The warm, personal note to a longtime customer going through something hard, that's yours, forever. The moment a customer feels like they're talking to a machine that doesn't care, you've lost the one thing a big competitor can't copy, which is that you're a real human who gives a damn. Here's why I'm telling you this, even though it's less flashy. Because when you're honest about the limits, the whole thing actually works better. The owners who try to fully automate everything end up with a cold, robotic business that customers quietly leave. The owners who use AI to handle the boring stuff so they have more energy for the human stuff, those are the ones who win. The tool removes the busy work. It doesn't replace your judgment, your taste, or your relationships. Anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you a fantasy. Part 5. Reinvest the time, don't just pocket it. Okay, this is the one I promised you. The step almost nobody does, and it's why most people's AI experiment fizzles out in a month. Here's what normally happens. Someone uses Claude, saves a few hours, and then fills those hours with more busy work. They got the time back and immediately spent it on the same low-value stuff. A week later, they feel just as stuck, shrug, and go back to the old way. The people who actually scale treat the reclaimed time as capital. It's the most valuable thing the whole system gives you, and you do not waste it. So when you free up 5 hours a week, you deliberately point those hours at the things that actually grow a business. Talking to more customers, improving your offer, building the next system that frees up even more time. It compounds. The time you save in Part 2 buys you the hours to build the systems in Part 3, and those systems save you even more time, which you reinvest again. That's the flywheel. That's the difference between using AI to do the same small business slightly faster and using it to build a genuinely bigger one. Saving time is step 1. Reinvesting it on purpose is the step that changes your life. The real playbook in one breath. Let me zoom out, because I don't just want you to copy these steps. I want you to understand the game so you can run it in any business forever. Scaling was never about working more hours. You've already proven you can do that, and it didn't free you. Scaling is about building a business that produces results without you personally producing every one of them. Claude makes that possible for one person now, in a way that used to take a payroll. And here's what's actually true about this moment.
The owners who win the next 2 years won't be the ones with the biggest budgets. They'll be the ones who stopped being the bottleneck early. The barrier that used to require a whole team, it quietly came down. Most people haven't noticed yet. They're still doing follow-ups by hand at 11 p.m., convinced there's no other way. You now know there is. So here's your move. This week, audit where your time actually goes. Next week, hand the writing to Claude and read it before it goes out. The week after, turn your best work into a system you never rebuild from scratch. Protect the human parts and take every hour you save and spend it growing, not grinding. Because the truth nobody says out loud is this: the AI was never going to scale your business. You are. Claude just finally gives you the leverage to stop being trapped inside the thing you built. So stop being the bottleneck. Go build the version of this that runs without you.